Hi, this is Dr. Sage Breslin, and this is Wisdom Wednesdays, my special series on my journey with cancer. Oh, we've been talking a lot about authenticity and sporting my current do as part of my authenticity. No do-rag, no hat, no scarf today, just my head. So I love the answers that those of you shared last week about, what looks more authentic to have somebody present, in a wig if they so choose, or with a bald head if they don't happen to have hair. And, which is more authentic. And what was so fun was so many of you said, like both. It depends on how you feel, right? What represents you more? And some made their desires known that they liked me better with hair or without or whatever. And it was just really interesting to see how people experience the exterior as part of that authenticity. And while we think of authenticity as something that emanates from the core, it's the representation of who we are at our core. Again, we kind of look for what are the external validating circumstances or sources or data, right? And sometimes we look for the external facade, visage, to shore up or to remind us of what's coming from the core. I was thinking about how, we talked about the power suit or the power tie, right? So you're going into court, or you're going in front of the board of directors, or you're meeting with your shareholders, and you want to feel powerful. So do you choose the shortened t-shirts that you've worn every day? Or do you put on that suit that causes you to feel maybe like your father, or the president, or whatever, whatever it is that helps you feel more confident and feel that confidence that emanates from your core, right? I think even for women, as we go into the courtroom, or we go to host a meeting, or we, are meeting with those angel investors that we are hoping to invest in our company. Do we wear, something that sort of shows us all buttoned up, or do we wear a very sensual attire? What do we wear, right? Do we do our hair a certain way? Do we wear specific shoes? That was my dilemma today, shoes. That's what happens when the weather changes here in San Diego. You're going to look at your flip-flops and say, I don't think that's going to work today. So, what do we do? And can we, really make sure that, again, our external circumstances or visage is representing who we are at the core? I was just kind of laughing the other day. I was thinking about how so many people, when they envision an intuitive or are working with somebody who is, reads minds, what do you expect them to look like? What if they were wearing a beautiful suit? What if they were just wearing jeans and a t-shirt? Or what if they were wearing a long scarf and flowy skirt and, what are our expectations? And by the way, where did those come from, right? Often they come from our implicit biases. And, what does that mean? And what does that mean for us when we meet them? Do we assign them more credibility if they look a certain way? So all of this being said, back to my cancer journey. Last week, I offered up just a generic Sage Wisdom, Wisdom Wednesday. It was not specific to my cancer, although it did incorporate the fact that I currently have very little hair. I'm sporting my USMC #1. But, today I thought it's important that I kind of catch you up on what's going on. And this goes to my authenticity. I think one of the things that happened when I returned to work 2 weeks ago was I was so excited. Like, I was so excited by my first day of work that I couldn't sleep that night. That's how passionate I am about this work. And then, I got used to it, and last week was a very quiet week, and it allowed me to get managing some projects that I needed to. And so it was a little bit easier. At least at the start. And then, the world kind of came crashing down. When you were in a room for 3 months, you have the people that come to you. And part of my people are a little fur crew, right? And until last week, my 4-year-old Great Pyrenees and my 2 4-year-old Strawberry Tabby twins, and a beautiful little 1-year-old Bengal kitty who, piece of work, crazy. Bengals are not cats, they're tigers, seriously. Would just keep me company and keep me busy and keep me distracted and keep me entertained, and brought me the love that I couldn't go out and connect with outside my room, outside my house. And Bengals are very curious, although they're very homebound, so we don't really understand what happened. But somewhere in the middle of the night, our little kitty, somebody must have gotten up to get a drink of water or go to the bathroom or something, and one of the windows was open in a bedroom, and she got out. And one of the neighbors did get a video of her, we think, returning maybe after a scuffle. We live where there are a lot of coyotes, unfortunately. And we think she probably made it as far back as our front yard. And that was the last we saw of her a week ago. And our hearts are just broken. And I think initially I was so resistant to accepting that as a reality, that she had been eaten by the coyotes, that I just did everything I could to just stay shut down. We put up signs, we alerted the neighbors, we alerted the neighborhood, I called every day for 4 days, multiple times a day. We scoured the canyon. I think I really just needed to hold out hope that somehow, somebody had found her and picked her up and taken her in. And I couldn't let myself feel even. And I noticed I just didn't want to do anything. Thank God my patients stayed away. Thank God there were not lots and lots of discovery calls, because I couldn't get myself to come to the table. I couldn't do it. And, right about that time, the gift that keeps on giving, my last dose of chemotherapy, Melphalan, the Marrow Killer, was on the 16th of November. And, the hair fell out on December 1st. And, the motor neuropathy kicked in like on the 28th of November, something right around there. And so last week, as all this was happening, my eyelashes all fell out and my eyebrows started to fall out. And I thought to myself, really? Is this really happening? Are you kidding me? And I had this brief moment where I said, God, are you serious? Don't hit me when I'm down. I'm trying here. And then I took a deep breath, and I know that God shows up in everything. I know that things happen for a reason, and I can barely bring myself to say that about losing something, some little fur kid that was so dear to me. But we've got some busy times ahead, and I'm hoping to travel to be with my daughter as she gives birth to my grandson. And I know I was worried about how this little curious being who was always into something would get along. The older cats can kind of take care of themselves, and the dog goes to our friends who have a farm, and I guess God's taken that off my worry list. And for that, I'm going to be thankful. But I'm finally going to give myself a chance to feel. And authentically, that's where I am. I'm sad. I'm very relieved for the projects that I've been able to work on and just kind of putter at. I'm relieved for having the tribe that I have and the wonderful clients who are returning to me, who ask me first, how am I, before we begin the conversation. Not because the therapy is for me, but because that is the human connection that we seek for with authenticity. You know, that is how we do what we do. We don't sell a product or a service. We connect to the vendors and the owners of companies at a core human level. And then we discuss how we can help one another. And if there's a fit, at that point in time, we exchange money, right? And we do the job that we're paid to do. That's the world of business. You know, there's been lots of discussion about, you know, what's appropriate to bring to LinkedIn, what's appropriate to bring to Facebook, what's appropriate to put on Instagram. You know, where does the world of business begin and where does personal life end? And the answer is that you can't separate the two because they all come from within. And yes, we may have some rules of decorum for our world of work. Yes, we may want to be slightly more cautious on LinkedIn with the pictures maybe that we share, right? But we all start from our core. And if you have any problems reaching your authentic self, like I did when I was so shut down because I was so distressed, then you have to take a pause, right? Or you have to get help and you have to reach within and find, you know, that person that you are, that message that you want to share. And if you can't do that, take a break. And when you're ready to do that, then reach out. And if you can't do that, then you call somebody like me, right? Who is showing up to share with this world what I do, who I am, how I do it. And yes, I'm the same person at the grocery store or Home Depot or home or work or up on the stage. I'm the same person. I probably wear more makeup when I'm in front of the camera, by the way. So let's start talking about, you know, what truly is authenticity and what gets in the way and what helps you to be more authentic. You know, is it a great tribe that responds to you with love and kisses when you share? Tell me. So in the comments, I would love to hear from you. And I want to thank you so much for being part of my tribe. I want you to know that I value you so much, that being able to connect to you as a communal tribe, as an international communal tribe, has been so helpful to me during these months and honestly in everything that I do. So I want to thank you for that. And I just want to leave you with this wisdom that if anything is getting in the way of your authenticity, it's getting in the way of your connection with people. And that's who your team is, and that's who your family is, and that's who your vendors are and your salespeople. And that means if there's a block, please reach out. Thank you so much. I so enjoy you, and I look forward to next week.